Good evening, everybody. Welcome inside Tarbell Pavilion on the campus of Swathmore College for the game of the week in Division III basketball. It's number 1 in the country. Swathmore hosting Johns Hopkins. Bob Long, Jacob Brady alongside. Well, you have a top 11 matchup here. Blue Jays come in at number 11 in the country. Swathmore at number 1. Neither of them having lost a game, and it's two programs that are doing it their way, near the echelon, near the peak of Division III basketball, and this has everything you want in a matchup.
At the beginning of the season, this was the game that you circled on your calendar. Last game before both teams take a winter break. Matchup of top opponents. They met in the Centennial Conference Championship game this year. This was the one to look out for, and it has surely lived up to the hype. Johns Hopkins already a signature win this season over Christopher Newport, the then number 9 ranked team that was a national semifinalist last year, ultimately losing to the Garnet then. And they have just impressed throughout to go 8-0. It's in large part been about the breakout of Tom Quarry. Lost a couple big guys in especially Daniel Villa sticks out as one. He was a guy who was Centennial Conference Defensive Player of the Year at one time. Michael Gardner as well, who won Centennial Conference Tournament MVP. And then they've had the younger guys, the freshmen, the sophomores, step up and carry the slack. This has been an impressive team. They're outscoring opponents by 16.8 points per game. That's ranked 17th in the country. One spot behind the Garnet, incidentally, the 16th highest scoring margin in the country. It is a matchup of opponents that excel in all facets of the game. Great shooting, great big men, and it's going to be a great matchup.
A guy that the Garnet will see back tonight that they didn't see in either of the previous two matchups against Johns Hopkins is Connor Delaney. He is a junior. He was injured 10 games into last season, but really is the rock of this Hopkins team, runs the point, is the second leading scorer on the team, and a guy who just does it all. Looking forward to see him back on the floor and go against a Garnet point guard position and Vinny D'Angelo, Ryan Ingram, two guys that have come in and done an excellent job filling in for their starting point guard, Abbas Salah, who is not available tonight, has been not been available throughout the majority of the season thus far. So the stage is set. Big matchups in the front court as well. Braden Johnson, Tom Quarry, Harry O'Neill on the front court for Johns Hopkins. And then, of course, for Swathmore, first-team All-American Zach Odell, as well as Nate Shafer, who will headline the front court with some depth on that bench as well. We're going to turn it over to the public address announcer for the introductions, and then we'll have tip here at Tarbell Pavilion.
Here on the campus of Swathmore College, we have tonight's Centennial Conference men's basketball game featuring the Johns Hopkins University Blue Jays. And your Swathmore Garnet. And now for tonight's starting lineups. First, visiting Johns Hopkins Blue Jays. Bartlett. Next is Ingram. the sophomore guard from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 35, Hawkins. And finally, a senior forward from McLean, Virginia, number 40, Shafer. And goes to the guard is Landry Kosmolski. He is assisted by Shane Leffler, Bill Surley, and Ryan Ansell.
There are the starters. The stage is set. And as you heard in the introductions as well, a bit of a family rivalry. The head coach for Johns Hopkins, Josh Leffler, his younger brother, Shane Leffler, who played here at Swathmore College and now sits on the bench as the assistant to Landry Kosmolski. I think these teams know each other pretty well, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, Josh, of course, a Swarthmore grad as well, so he's got it in his blood, and I know that these teams always love to play each other. So fierce, but obviously the love there between a couple of brothers.
Swathmore dressed in the home whites. Johns Hopkins comes out of the huddle wearing black with blue trim and white numerals. Harry O'Neill, standing at 6'6", will jump it against Nate Shafer, also at 6'6", and an honorable mention, preseason All-American. Underway in this colossal matchup, the first of two in the regular season between the top two teams in the Centennial Conference. Man-to-man defense to start. Nate Shafer drives right at O'Neill, keeps that pivot foot. It was the left foot. Now with 9 to shoot, Odell into the lane, spins on Bartlett. Great control there and gets that silky smooth finish to go.
We've seen such fantastic body control out of these big men over the past couple of days. That's Zach Odell just faking one way and then spinning the other and using that soft touch to finish.
Delaney comes off a high ball screen, gets the switch. Now they run ISO. Delaney. Here's a three from Kern, no good. Garnet basketball. Interesting, Jacob. Hopkins got the look they wanted on that first possession, but Nate Shafer, a nice job defensively to force Delaney to toss that ball out of the paint area.
Yeah, couldn't ask for better defense from him that time. Instead of biting aggressively on the drive, just kept his position, slid laterally, keeping himself between Delaney and the basket and then forcing the pass.
Shaw looking for Shafer. Nice defense in there by O'Neill. Shaw spots up, no good from three. Rebound from Odell, dribbled it off the foot of Bartlett. Able to put it on the turf. He's blocked a second time and a jump ball. Aggressive defense by Bartlett there. And it looked about 3 times like Odell was going to be able to score it. Credit Bartlett, the undersized guard there, being tasked with guarding Zach Odell.
Always a hard task for a defender there. That time staying true, keeping his hands to himself, so to speak, and then able to force the jump ball right at the end there.
Skip pass here for Delaney. Back for Bartlett, tees it up, and hits. Ethan Bartlett for 3, the sophomore out of North White Plains, New York, Valhalla High School.
I know Valhalla well. Those are my old stomping grounds. I'm from White Plains, so
there it is.
Just to the south of him.
15 on the shot clock. Connor Hawkins got the start here tonight. He's been torrid in recent weeks. 14 for 30 from distance in his last 3 games. Nate Shafer, a high percentage look as he bangs away inside.
Great job from him there, just slowly keeping his control there and then a soft finish. But going back to Hawkins, he has really made the most out of these last 2 starts. As you said, 14 for 30 over the last 3 games. Prior to that, he was 8 for 36, and Joey Kern is playing him so close right now because he knows how dangerous he can be to shoot if you give him any sort of space.
Couple of substitutions here for Swathmore after the Johns Hopkins travel. Justin Tucker, Vinny D'Angelo check into the game, along with George Visconti, who's been out the last few games. From a Garnet perspective, good to see him back out there on the floor.
He'd been the leading scorer for the Garnet in the games he'd played, so obviously great to have that weapon back.
Kern to the basket, a high floater won't go. Good rebound in there by Visconti. And Zach Odell, after the turnover, able to alter the shot.
That was fantastic recognition as he just rotated there onto the block and forcing Kern to go up early there for a tough floater.
D'Angelo mishandles. Now with 12 to shoot, he'll reset the offense. Shaw, guarded by the larger Quarry, spins in the lane and hits it. He wants a foul as well. Bringing back the mid-range, Jacob. Colin Shaw has been great in that area this year.
Such a great job from the sophomore. We've talked so much about how improved his offense have been. You could see it right there. Got Quarry off balance and then spinning for the finish.
That time, Johns Hopkins takes advantage of the switch off the high ball screen. Delaney's done that 3 times. That's the first time he's been able to beat the big to the basket, and it was Justin Tucker defending. Tucker gets to the basket himself, puts it up, but a travel first, and it'll go back Hopkins' way. Shafer checks in, replacing Zach Odell. Braden Johnson checks in for the first time at 6'7", a big that can stretch the floor, hit the 3.
He's been the 6th man this year for Hopkins, scoring 10 points off the bench, 4 boards as well for him. So it's been a big presence for this Blue Jays team.
Garnet and man-to-man. Johns Hopkins runs the offense, faking a high ball screen, all the way to the lane, and great finish there by Connor Delaney.
And he beat 2 defenders that time around the edge. First got Ingram. Shafer was coming over, but such a quick first step and then great acceleration to the basket to get there before Shafer could.
2-man basketball. Ryan Ingram, Nate Shafer, and a thing of beauty. Eight-7 Garnet lead. Very good first 4.5 minutes of basketball. Step back for Delaney, count it. Turns and shows the 3 fingers to the bench as Johns Hopkins takes the 2-point lead.
That time they were scared of the drive, so Ingram sagged back, and Delaney's a guy who will knock down his perimeter shots as well. Hasn't quite had as much success early on the season, only 9 for 31 from beyond the arc, but he can make you pay if you give him room.
A giveaway by Shafer. Harry O'Neal and Nate Shafer going to continue to go at it inside all evening long. Here's Johnson with it, and in the high post, it's Connor Delaney. Up top for Kern. Good hands there. Out of bounds, last touch by Hopkins. Chid Nake just checked into the game, 6'6", could not control it. Good deflection in the passing lane by Nate Shafer.
Good to see the hustle out of George Visconti, that time forcing it off of Nanake. Clearly no trepidation about throwing his body around in spite of coming off of the injury that kept him out for a couple games.
Shafer inside. He has Nake on him. Floor is spaced. Spins inside. No good, and Nake comes down with the rebound. Delaney again with a jump stop in the lane. Kern will reset it. 19 on the shot clock. Seven to shoot. Carson James inside, a wild shot. Count it, and 1. Swathmore bench may not love that. Continuation, perhaps. The bump certainly looked like he was when he was coming across the lane, but they give him the shot with one more foul shot coming. Four-point lead for Johns Hopkins. No good on that foul shot. He was 3 for 5 coming into the night. It's been a lot of offense through Nate Shafer thus far. The Garnet have wanted to attack the bigs. This time it's Visconti off the drive. Shafer again drives in on Nake. Good footwork. Now full court pressure. And Johns Hopkins is going to get it across the timeline. Alex Shackney, number 3, runs the point. Nake slips to the hole, nearly thrown away. Johnson for 3, no good, not even close. And the Garnet come back the other way, a chance to tie or take the lead.
Actually had Nake on that play open just a little bit earlier as he was slipping to the basket and just wasn't seen.
Travel called against Zach Odell. A little too quick with that jab and didn't get the ball on the turf quickly enough. Three starters come back on the floor for Johns Hopkins, very likely with the idea that they need to break the pressure, and Tom Quarry will be the one to get it across the timeline. Bartlett for 3. It's good. Bartlett with 2 trays early on.
That was perfectly done by Delaney in transition. Saw the open shooter in the corner. Kick for the easy shot.
Odell surveys. Shaw fades away. Tough shot. Won't get the roll and brought down by Bartlett.
And Hopkins seems to have made a big part of their game plan early on here, making sure that Connor Hawkins gets absolutely nothing.
Blocked there by Odell. It'll stay here. Delaney attacks the body. Odell stays straight up. Tomahawks it into the sideline.
But there have been multiple times where you'd see a possession where a guy would sag off defensively on penetration down the middle, but they're on Hawkins and they're staying true to him. And those are usually the opportunities where they can get the inside-out passing, but it's not happening tonight.
What a catch there by Bartlett.
It's like a wide receiver that time.
Quarry for 3. That one's no good. Delaney has been excellent thus far. A very quick first step, quicker than I remember a few years ago. Last time he played here at Tarba Pavilion. He is becoming one of the top players in the Centennial Conference. Colin Shaw, no good. And an offensive foul is called. Who's that going to go against? Will it be Caprice or will it be Zach Odell? And it will be Caprice. To be honest, I didn't see that call. He went up initially trying to tap it back. I don't think he went over the back, and then he was kind of out of the play. Whistle came a bit late. Then again, Swathmore, I think, more concerned about that foul, potentially going to first-team preseason All-American Zach Odell.
He's a guy who's had some foul issues, only able to play 23 minutes against Ursinus last week due to foul trouble.
Ethan Bartlett lighting it up here from Tarble Pavilion. It's an 8-point lead for Johns Hopkins. Shaw, good cut inside, put it on the turf. I thought that's a travel. Bartlett already pulling down a bunch of caroms early on. And a hesitation dribble, too strong from Delaney. End to end we go. That one banged off of Shaw. D'Angelo fortunate to be there. Swathmore has to get back into their offensive flow. That'll work. Connor Hawkins for 3. A flop from Joey Kern. Hawkins says thank you very much.
It's definitely an interesting play. He just sort of jabbed with his foot, and Kern went straight down. And if you're going to give him that much room to shoot, why not just rise up for a 3?
And Connor Hawkins called for the foul as Braden Johnson was cutting off the ball. One more look at the tail end. Connor Hawkins knocking it down with that sweet stroke. Stoppage here as they're going to go to the scorebook and make sure that they have whether it's the foul situation correctly dictated. And it might be about how many team fouls that Swathmore has. There's 3 listed on the board. Johns Hopkins yet to commit a foul. So Johns Hopkins will inbound from underneath their offensive basket, but not before another quick conference.
I was trying to listen there, and I thought they said there was a foul on Joey Kern, but I certainly don't recall that happening, and it hasn't gone up on the board. So
it could have been Nate Shafer knocks it into the student section, and I certainly don't know if it involves Kern. Could it have been something to do with the embellishment that wasn't called, but is a new part of college basketball this year? But there's nothing on the board, and there wasn't any indication at the time.
Well, so they give a warning on the first call, and then a technical on the second. So perhaps Kern going into the scorebook with a warning.
Delaney inside, can't finish, everything but.
It's a couple of times that's happened to him. He looks so explosive out there, just hasn't quite been able to finish with some tough reverses.
Shafer has it and keeps that ball high. Floor is wide open for him if he wants to go at O'Neal. Does so with 10. Keeps the pivot foot in and out. One more time to Shafer, counted and one. He says thank you very much at the weak side block. Ball just comes to him, and he's tripped to the floor, a good finish.
It's just sticking with the play right there. Initially got up, you thought that layup was just going to float in off the rim, instead bounced off, but perfectly placed there to go straight back and finish.
30-second timeout on the floor. A good one here from Tarbell Pavilion. Not that we expected any different. The 2 top teams in the Centennial Conference and a top 11 matchup nationally. Both teams unbeaten. Both teams 8-0. Swathmore came into the year with that #1 ranking in the country. They have yet to relinquish it.
Definitely seen the defensive battles down low. Harry O'Neal very often matched up against Shafer. Shafer getting the better of him so far, 4 for 6 from the field with 8 points. But that's no knock on what O'Neal has been doing defensively, forcing him to take some tough shots. But the Garnet have just been making the opportunities that they've been given.
I was interested to see where this game was going to head, and there's a long way to go, but you're talking about a Swathmore team with a strength of scoring the basketball. Not that they aren't a strong defensive team, because they absolutely are, but a team averaging about 90 points per game, one of the top teams in the country in that regard. Meanwhile, Johns Hopkins is holding their opponents to 60 points per game, scoring 77 themselves. Well, through 10 minutes, Swathmore scored 15 points. On track for 60. But a long way to go, a lot of basketball to play. And some backcourt pressure here applied by Ryan Ingram. Ingram has done a great job in recent weeks running the point guard position. He had to do it last year at times with Cam Wiley on the bench. Abbas Salah hasn't played at all this year. Harry O'Neal dials up the 3. That's no good. And it is kept in bounds there by Shafer. Garnet on the run.
The hustle out of Bartlett in this one has been impressive there, nearly coming up with the offensive carom that time.
Just a little push there from Nate Shafer. A discard on Harry O'Neal, and that's the first foul on Nate Shafer this evening. O'Neal, one of those defenders that won't really give you an inch. Here's Tom Quarry with the basketball. They've held him in check this evening. Leading scorer for Johns Hopkins gets his defender in the air. And a great hand in the passing lane by Ingram.
Textbook right there. Even with your back to the basketball, keep your hands out. Coming up with a deflection that time is Ingram.
Shafer has it on the baseline, 19 feet from the basket. Now he'll drive in, spin to the basket, counted and one. Harry O'Neal picks up the personal foul, and Shafer can take the lead.
He's been fantastic in this first half, and given the task of consistently going up against O'Neal, showing off that spin to the baseline and extending up to the basket, kissing it off the glass.
Very interesting to see the Garnet plan of attack. Hopkins is a team that defends the perimeter and doesn't want to give up a whole lot of threes, so there is going to be space inside. Hopkins is going to have to decide whether to double the bigs or not, and that's a decision that every team that plays Swathmore this year is going to have to make because of the combination of outside shooting and inside strength that Swathmore has, and thus far, Johns Hopkins has said you're going to beat us with twos and beat us with the bigs taking on our bigs.
And Shafer's been doing it. They've been consistently just saying, all right, no off-ball cutting. We're going to let you go to work inside, and he's been answering the call.
Bartlett, very impressed with this young fella. Shackney nearly lost the dribble. Caprice got his hands in the passing lane and comes up with another turnover. Ingram guarded by Shackney, who plays him to his right hand. Caprice has it now, top of the key. A travel is called against Caprice, and they'll give it right back to Johns Hopkins. Swathmore led with 12 points from Nate Shafer. 5 of 7 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. The rest of the team just 7 points, as the Swathmore Garnet have a 1-point lead under 8 minutes to play in their home barn.
Turnovers have been an issue for the Garnet this season, already 6 in this one. And that's a fantastic job by Nake down low, letting a couple of defenders just fly by him.
Caprice got caught looking there. Caprice was thinking switch, the other defender was not. Nake all alone underneath. Caprice now, will he go right back at Nake? Good footwork inside, and he finishes it for 2. I thought Nake could have been tabbed for a foul there as well as he was going into his shooting motion.
First the physicality to knock Nake off balance, and then the spin once he had his feet out from under him, and another great finish inside.
Odell, strong defense on Braden Johnson. They don't want him to have a look from deep. 9 to shoot for Joey Kern, guarded by Vinny D'Angelo. Beats his defender to the basket, can't finish, and Caprice brings it down. Odell wants it inside, guarded by the leaner Johnson. Puts it up, too strong. Caprice brings it down, and a foul is called against Braden Johnson as he was lying on his back. Leffler can't believe it. I don't necessarily blame him. He was kind of just wrong place, wrong time, Jacob, and the legs got tied up as Caprice came to the floor.
That was a man's rebound from Caprice that time, going up amidst a whole mess of bodies right there and holding on to that ball.
And with the wherewithal to throw it up towards the basket, get fouled in the act of shooting, and he'll shoot 2 at the line. As mentioned, Braden Johnson coming to the bench, I would say measurably and expectedly a little disappointed with that call. Tough position to be in there under the basket. Caprice long on the second, and it's a 2-point lead here for Swathmore, a lower scoring game, 22-20. Putting the longer George Visconti on Connor Delaney.
I like this matchup. Delaney's so explosive, but Visconti can run with him.
Good close out there. Now Delaney rises, fires, and it's an offensive foul. If that's against O'Neal, which it is, it's his second. It's a moving screen to prevent the closeout from Shafer. And that's one, even if you're getting rid of that ball, if you're in the area of setting a screen, you got to stay still. And that time he turned his backside into Shafer and deterred the momentum towards the closeout. Visconti, the teardrop there, launched it high, good spin, and it falls through.
That's his spot right there, just outside the foul line. Puts so much arc on it and drops it right into the basket. Good to see him finding his scoring touch again after sitting the last couple games.
Bartlett, a good one-handed catch. Nake, one-on-one. Let's see if he takes Shafer on his own. No, it's Quarry to the basket, can't finish. Kept in bounds by Shafer. Bartlett is down behind the play. 50-50 ball against Shafer. Now he comes back into the play. Shafer drives into the lane, pulled away from him. It's a loose ball, and Chid Nake comes up with it.
It's Bartlett getting his hands in there initially, forcing that ball out and making up for that play on the other end.
Connor Delaney driving at the hip of George Visconti. And George Visconti picks up his second personal foul. So not a lot of fouls for this Swathmore team, just 5 on for the first half. George Visconti goes to the bench, however, with 2 personals.
Certainly been a physical game. They just haven't been too aggressive at blowing the whistles. They've been letting the guys play, letting them battle, and it's been fun to watch.
Quarry on the catch. 5 minutes left in a great first half. Swathmore leads by 4. Delaney rises for 3, no good. But an offensive carom by Kern, and they'll reset. Couldn't finish there. Brought down by Shafer and fouled underneath his own basket.
Should be the second foul on Johnson now. So a couple of big men for Hopkins with their foul numbers starting to creep up.
Actually called that one on the guard,
Oh.
Carson James. And now that's the discussion, I think, that you see right in the center of your screen. Was it 23 or 21?
Pardon, 23 isn't on the floor. That was my confusion there.
Here's another look at one of Shafer's finishes on the other end. Josh Leffler having a conversation, an impassioned one, with the officials. And it is going to be a technical foul, so perhaps a flop called. Connor Delaney called for the flopping warning, and that's the second time that he's gone down, kind of kicked that leg out on the 3, trying to draw a 3 foul shot opportunity. So Shaw hits the foul shot, and the Garnet will get the ball back. We've talked about it before, Jacob. That's a point of emphasis across college basketball this year.
It's a new rule, and it may be surprising to some, but just trying to get flopping out of the game.
D'Angelo now inside. Shaw rises and hits inside. Good cut to the backside, and it's a 7-point lead for Swathmore.
It's good hesitation there. Kern didn't know quite what to do, and Shaw able to rise up for the finish.
James, tough shot, no good. Brought down by Shafer. It's an 8-0 run here for Swathmore. Under 4 minutes to play here in the first half. Tucker drives in on Quarry. Nice job by Tom Quarry there defensively. Shaw, tough shot goes down. Timeout, Josh Leffler. They rise here at Tarbell Pavilion.
Perfect job on the hesitation once again, letting the defender fly by, opening himself up some space. That's still not a particularly easy shot in the mid-range, but a good look for Shaw, and he knocks it down.
Another look, and he has been really good at coming to that stop, pumping once, and he just gets so much lift, even down to the layup that he had on the prior possession. Just rises above the defender, some of which are taller than him, but he gets such elevation and extension on that shot. Colin Shaw, a nice game thus far. Timeout on the floor, the number 1 team in the country. The Swathmore Garnet on a 10-0 run and taking a 9-point lead against Johns Hopkins.
It's been defense that's often catalyzed these big runs for the Garnet. This time, it's exactly what's occurring, forcing contested layups that Hopkins just hasn't been able to hit on, and their offense has fed off of that and really started to open up here. The big men really working inside. I've been impressed with the way that they've been attacking Nake and O'Neal and just taking it strong to the hoop.
We mentioned the 10-0 run. It's a 19-2 run from Swathmore since it was 18-10 Blue Jays. Shafer leads all scorers with 12. Colin Shaw now has 7 for the Garnet. Johns Hopkins paced by Ethan Bartlett with 9. Connor Delaney with 7. Now they get the switch. Bartlett drives inside. Great job by Shafer, couldn't come up with it. And a good finish inside, Chid Nake. It was the right anticipation, Jacob, from Nate Shafer. Just couldn't quite come up with that basketball on the weak side defensive help. Nice job by Nake, and forces the miss from Shafer. Not a high percentage look that time from the Garnet senior. Quarry can't loosen the cap on that hoop for him. Has not been his day. Averaging over 17 points a game, scoreless here tonight. Shaw thought about that three, guarded by the longer Quarry. And he's fouled by Tom Quarry. He'll shoot 2 at the line.
It's knocking him on the hand as he was in his shooting motion there, and should be a couple of free points for Colin Shaw.
Been very impressed with Colin Shaw's improvement as a basketball player. He did everything he was asked in year number 1 and has always been a tremendous defender, a tremendous rebounder for his size as he goes 1 of 2 there. But now the 3rd leading scorer on this team and the 2nd leading rebounder. He and Shafer average the same number of rebounds per game. Connor Delaney runs the offense exquisitely, draws the 2nd defender, and Nake wide open underneath. Odell has trouble handling it. Now Bartlett a bit behind the play. Shafer with 11. Shaw for 3, no good. Long rebound, chase down. Garnet basketball knocked out of bounds by Kern. Great hustle by the junior Connor Hawkins.
Hasn't quite been Shaw's day from beyond the arc, 0 for 3 now. And what really speaks to how much Hopkins commits to shutting down the three-pointers is that the Garnet have only taken 4 of them. The one make coming at the hands of Connor Hawkins. But this is a team that has attempted 214 on the season. That's 27 per game. And they've only taken 4 in this half.
They've done a lot of this, though. Zach Odell tipped up, and the Garnet are going to get it back. A mishandle there from Johns Hopkins. D'Angelo given the 3 and hits it. Vinny D'Angelo, the freshman, gets on the board from deep, and it's a 9-point lead once again for Swathmore. Good job to hedge and recover from Zach Odell defensively. Now Nake from the elbow. Delaney attacks. Blocked by Odell and body contact down below. Swathmore can't believe it. But Delaney attacks the body, will shoot 2 at the line.
Usually so clean. Odell is underneath the basket, but that time Delaney just continuing to maintain the pressure. Initially drove one way, then drove basically across the bottom of the basket and spent enough time there that he forced the contact out of Zach Odell.
6th team foul against Swathmore. Johns Hopkins also with 6. Either team will be in the bonus at the opposing team's next foul. 1 minute to play. Short on that foul shot, brought down by Odell. Let's see what the Garnet do from a clock perspective, if they can essentially ensure a 2-for-1. D'Angelo fouled, wave off the shot. 1-and-1 upcoming for the freshman D'Angelo. He's been good in this area, 78% from the line, 14 of 18 on the year.
He's a guy who's able to put his head down and drive at the basket. We've seen more out of him in recent games, not just looking first to pass, but keeping it for himself on the drive. I expect those free throw numbers to continue to go up as the season progresses.
D'Angelo hits the first. Interesting substitution there from Kosmalski. Ingram on the floor along with D'Angelo, 2 point guards. And then Justin Tucker comes off for Nate Shafer. Of note, Shafer with 1 personal foul. Trusted on the defensive end on the next go-round with the thought that he's going to be there offensively, perhaps to get a look in the lane again.
Having D'Angelo and Ingram as well out there allows you to put Ingram off the ball, which is a spot where he thrives.
No need to throw this ball in right away, but they do. Clock was ticking. They could have expired the shot clock by Odell holding that ball for just a few seconds after the Delaney make. As of now, a little more than 3-second differential between game and shot clock. D'Angelo will run it down.
They go around to 8.
Hounded by James, now with 6 to shoot. Good skip pass. Ingram can't hit, tapped back, still 3 seconds. Here comes Bartlett, tees it up at the horn, no good. 34-27, a great half of basketball between number 1 in the country and number 11. Swathmore with the 7-point cushion on their home floor.
It had been Bartlett's game from beyond the arc up until that point. 9 points for him, 3 for 4 now. But Connor Delaney, oh my God, he's been just so explosive, baiting multiple defenders around the edge, getting around help defenders. 10 points for him, such a great first step from him. But the Garnet putting together that 19-2 run throughout the middle of that first half. That's been the difference here. They have the ability to just go on these big runs, and that's exactly what they did here after Hopkins went up by 8 early on.
Yeah, I mentioned it at the start, and you mentioned it there as well. Delaney is more explosive than I remember. I certainly think he's added some quickness to that first step, and he's a problem at the D3 level for a lot of teams this year. Swathmore doing a decent job keeping him in check. Yes, 10 points, but 4 for 8 from the field, and have caused them for some tough finishes inside, and some of them have come off the rim. For Swathmore, it's been an Nate Shafer type of night. 5 for 8 from the floor, 12 points. Colin Shaw, 3 for 8 from the floor with 8 points. But already 7 guys on the scoreboard for Swathmore. It's been a balanced operation this year, and it's continued here in this first half. A good one here from Tarbell Pavilion. Johns Hopkins held to 42% from the field. Swathmore over 50%, 13 for 25, and a 7-point cushion to show for it. Bob Long, Jacob Brady here, your broadcast team on the Garnet Sports Network. We'll be back in just a few minutes for the beginning of the second half, and we're live here on GSN.
Why choose Swarthmore? Wow.
I don't know how to say this in like one interview.
There's just like this magnetic secret on campus that people really can't describe.
The campus itself is beautiful.
I was absolutely floored when I first came here. A lot of it came from the values that SWAT has.
It truly is the people that make this community. All my memories are inseparable from the people that were around me.
I applied to Swarthmore through the Questbridge National College Match, and it's a program that matches high-achieving, low-income students with really selective institutions like this.
I knew I wanted to play basketball in college. Basketball was a tool that would enable me to get a great education. In high school, I was kind of pressured by the standard to play Division I, but I wanted to pave my own way.
It chose itself for me, and I knew on a more pre-intellectual level that this was the place.
And one of my favorite things and my favorite takeaways of this place has been the community.
I've been lucky to experience what learning is like at other institutions, and I'm very thankful that I did that because that completely changed my perception of Swarthmore. It made me realize that Swarthmore is special in these very small and unique ways that actually make an enormous difference.
The reason I'm so involved on campus is because I feel like the things that I do here matter. You can actually enact meaningful change.
When you're walking around campus, like I don't feel like I'm just walking by a bunch of strangers, and being in these smaller settings, like it gives you the opportunity to build strong relationships with people that also have like a vested personal interest in who you are as a person.
It totally tailors itself to like every type of person. You can come here and be anywhere on any spectrum, and you'll be pretty well welcomed.
You'll find that the people here are here for you. I was able to find really good, deep personal growth. And Swarthmore has been that formative experience that the community allows me to have that space that I can have that growth.
I have incredible mentors who have helped me at every step of the way, which I'm really thankful for. And I don't think I would have that same type of individualized attention and recognition at a place that's not Swarthmore.
Welcome back inside Tarble Pavilion. Beginning of the second half. Commencing shortly here on the Garnet Sports Network. Bob Long on play-by-play. Jacob Brady is with me on color commentary. And not much else you'd expect between number 1 in the country and number 11. These teams going at it. And a 19-2 run in the middle of the first half propelled Swathmore to their 7-point lead that they hold currently.
Definitely been a battle here, that's for sure. You can see it going on. Underneath the basket, Nate Shafer has been the go-to guy for the Garnet when they need a bucket. 12 points, 5 for 8, shooting all of those coming within about 5 feet of the basket. Been going up against Nake and O'Neal all night and been making it look pretty easy. Colin Shaw also with 8 points, and then on the other side, of course, Delaney doing his thing as the point guard, showing his scoring touch as well. Bartlett, 3 big three-pointers, and Nake with some success inside as well. 6 points for him so far. But what I would like to see out of the Garnet in the second half, a little more balance. Only 6 of their field goal attempts have come from beyond the arc. Now, Hopkins has certainly made it their duty to shut down perimeter shooting. However, the Garnet do a good job using off-ball screens, things like that, to open up shots for guys like Visconti, like Hawkins, of course, and they need to continue to do that.
Huge foul call there against Harry O'Neal. He didn't like the call. Josh Leffler having an impassioned discussion off-screen to the right about it. That's the 3rd personal foul against Harry O'Neal, the primary post defender for Johns Hopkins. He stays out on the floor for the time being. And Shafer hits 1 of 2. Swathmore leads 35-27.
And with the success that Shafer's been having, you almost need to keep him out there and at least make the look somewhat tough for him as opposed to giving him what amount to free buckets.
Delaney's in trouble, looking for help. Harry O'Neal provides that safety valve. Now 8 on the shot clock. Stepping back, short. Brought down by Shaw. Now let's see if they go right at Shafer here. Give him the basketball, knowing that O'Neal can't foul. Puts it up and good, and that's exactly what you got to do if you're Swathmore. Tremendous recognition by the 5 on the floor.
O'Neal had to give him the space there for that spin and couldn't contest too much as he rose up there, and that's just an easy look for Nate Shafer.
Tom Quarry has been silent tonight in his return to Philadelphia. Native of Father Judge High School, graduated from there after a breakout senior year, went to Johns Hopkins. Bartlett, no good. He hit 3 in the first half. Couldn't find the range that time. Garnet with some momentum here. Shaw pulls up, foot on the line, no good. Loose ball brought down by O'Neal. Delaney a bit slow to get up. He was the one that tipped that rebound, and gingerly across half court. Curran with the basketball, guarded by Shafer. Mismatch inside. Odell fouls Tom Quarry. Attack the outside hip with the dribble.
And you can really see that Delaney looks uncomfortable right now. Not obvious what it is. Maybe that left shoulder that seems to be paining him, but just every cut he's making, see it right now, just a pained look on his face.
I think it's something with one of his legs, and certainly you don't want to speculate, but it is a pronounced limp for Connor Delaney. .16 on the shot clock. And a foul called against Justin Tucker off the ball as Quarry was cutting.
Garnet done a good job of limiting fouls in the first half, but already 2 quick ones in the opening minutes of the second half.
And it was Colin Shaw, not Justin Tucker. Nickel dimer there. Shafer, you got to just know that you can't do that. It is a ticky-tacky one there, but just stay home if you're Shafer. You know that's going to be called. Now they're going to work it around the perimeter. Bartlett has the smaller D'Angelo on him. They go away from him. Bartlett with 7 to shoot. Now it's Kern. Launches one from NBA range. Barely grazed the iron. Not a good look from Johns Hopkins. Still scoreless here in the second half. Out of bounds. D'Angelo turns it over.
He's looking for a foul call to bail him out that time, but just committed too much to driving into the contact, and when it wasn't there, lost it out of bounds.
And we're looking through 2 bodies from up here, but that official is right there on the baseline looking at that, and he says, hey, Delaney got the ball. And then it was certainly D'Angelo that forced it up, so last touched by D'Angelo. Carson James runs the point for Johns Hopkins, trailing by 10. And Hopkins, just not that off-ball movement that we're used to. Quarry launches a 3 and hits it. Not the highest percentage look, but Quarry will take it on the board here, and perhaps a spark for Johns Hopkins.
He'd been forcing a couple of them, but definitely good to see the shots perhaps starting to fall for Tom Quarry.
Tucker puts the ball on the floor, stays down and hits it. Beautiful to keep that pivot foot down, and a hook over the left shoulder. Quarry has the basketball, tries to take Tucker off a dribble drive, turns the corner, and finishes inside. The big man, 6'7".
The ISO Tom Quarry game is certainly an interesting one to see. You can see that whole possession. Nothing in his mind but scoring there. It's exactly what he did.
Here's Visconti, and now they'll work it around for Colin Shaw. Shaw rises, hits with one more coming. Joey Kern got the hand in there, and Shaw just rises up into it. Contact was before he left the floor. Continuation gives him the and one.
And just like Visconti, that's his spot. The mid-range right around the free throw line. Loves that position on the floor and the beneficiary of that hook from Joey Kern.
The old-fashioned three-point play for Colin Shaw. Here's a drive from Nake. Good look for Kern. He's open. Can't hit the three. Kept inbounds and now out of bounds on the sideline. Swathmore basketball. That was the smallest guy on the floor. Ryan Ingram going up high to knock it out of Nake's hands.
He plays a lot bigger than he is. And he's not afraid to go up against guys who have 6-7 inches on him. Impressive to watch.
Well, he's just waiting for the big man to bring it down to him. A great job there by Ingram. Hawkins. Visconti inside, offensive foul, driving that left shoulder down into the defender, Nake. That's one there, Jacob, where it doesn't matter whether Nake was in the restricted area or not. We're not talking about defensive position. We're talking about lowering the shoulder, a player control foul, the third against George Visconti.
I think Nake was already a little off balance there. Visconti didn't need to drive into him quite as aggressively as he did, as he would have had space, and just losing control of his body.
They deny the handoff to Quarry. Delaney spins. 12 seconds left. Good footwork there. Inside he goes. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Quarry hits a big one. Silences the Garnet crowd.
If you need a bucket at the buzzer, you give it to your best scorer, and even though it hasn't quite been Tom Quarry's night, he's the guy that you want his hands on.
The last 7 for Hopkins have been by way of Tom Quarry. D'Angelo nearly traveled. Now inside for Odell. Rise and hit over the smaller Ethan Bartlett. And a lot of work done ahead of time there, Jacob, to establish that position. At that point, 1 power dribble and up over the left shoulder.
The touch from these bigs have just been sublime tonight. Talk about touch there, though. Connor Delaney with a great finish.
And we go back and forth here at Tarbell Pavilion. Number 1 versus number 11. Both teams unbeaten. Only one will remain after tonight. Shafer goes right at the defender. Couldn't finish. What a rebound inside by Odell, and he falls down. A jump ball is called. D'Angelo ends up down as well, and the faithful here at Swathmore love the effort. It is Hopkins basketball, however.
And that was a ball that he didn't really have a right getting his hands on. It was one white jersey amongst 3 black jerseys, and somehow Zach Odell able to at least initially pull it down, certainly resulted in a jump ball, but such effort out of the senior big.
Delaney across the timeline. Thrown away, kept in bounds. Johnson ends up with it, and they'll reset it. Ten seconds. Good hands from Zach Odell. Delaney dribbled himself into trouble. D'Angelo adjusts and can't finish. Hopkins will slow it down. Great job by Caprice to stay down. Johnson to the hole. Loose ball, and Odell comes up with it. And I think Swathmore will be well served to slow this up. Giving it away. Here's Bartlett. Good finish.
It's a good job from Odell there not to foul, but Bartlett just waiting long enough to find the position that he wanted and making a tough shot.
D'Angelo inside, taken off him, off the knee. Hopkins basketball. It's really good defense from Joey Kern.
It seems to be defense that's just making the momentum swing in this game. It was the Garnet going on that 19-2 run in the first half. Defense catalyzed that. Right now it's Hopkins forcing back-to-back turnovers and a chance for at least a 4-point swing.
Ingram provides some backcourt pressure here for Swathmore. They get the switch. Now another switch. Delaney can't finish. Tried to draw some contact. Shafer, a good job to not foul.
I understand the desire to get Delaney onto Shafer, but he's just such a good defender that he's not going to bite in the way that you would expect other big men to.
Hopkins comes back the other way. Braden Johnson in rhythm. No good. And this is a track meet here from Tarbell Pavilion. The Garnet, no numbers. Odell huffing and puffing a little bit. A lot of guys with hands on the knees, hands on the hips. It's a bit of a heavier breath.
And Landry wisely calling for them to slow it down. There's no need to run at pace.
And there is a strip from Tom Quarry, secondary defender on Shafer. Offensive foul called against Connor Delaney.
It was 3 straight cough-ups from the Garnet, but then on the other end, Ingram putting his body on the line, taking the contact from Delaney, and again, that's just him getting out of control there. Went to his knee at the end there as he collided with Ryan Ingram.
You're right, simple as putting your head down and just attacking the hip there, and when he kind of stumbled, he got out of control. Visconti, a pull-up, glass, no good, offensive rebound though. Hawkins, that's a big three, and one. Connor Hawkins, one more coming at the line. And you see Quarry run right into him at the tail end. You gotta let him land.
And you've got to get this guy some more looks. He's just in another world right now in terms of his three-point shooting. And they need to get him doing that more often.
Hawkins misses, brought down by Chidnake.
He's only 5 for 10 from the charity stripe this season, which is an odd thing to see out of Hawkins.
Yeah, he's also the guy that'll hit the next 20, you know, small sample size. Foul called against Justin Tucker on the grab. Foul trouble was not an issue in the first half. Both teams were not in the bonus until the very late stages. Here, we're not even 10 minutes into this one. Swathmore with 5 team fouls. Johns Hopkins with 4. Free throws could become a part of the story going down the stretch. Harry O'Neal continues to sit with the 3 fouls. Nake inside. Goes right at Odell and finishes. Good move by the bulky big man inside, pushing his weight around, Chidnake.
Odell wasn't giving him any ground there, so instead he went to the side of the glass and then using that long arm to lay it in.
Great play there defensively. Connor Delaney saw that spin coming from a mile away. It's a 7-point basketball game as we started here in the second half, but my, have we gone back and forth. And it looks like Visconti has been called for a flop warning. So the jerk of the head back as if he got hit by the elbow. That's the 4th personal foul against George Visconti. Point of emphasis indeed. One of the primary scorers for Swathmore picks up. And I may have spoke a bit prematurely on that one. So it doesn't look like it's gone against him as a personal. Now they're going to come to the scorer's table to confirm. And we did have this situation earlier in the first half where Delaney was called for the flop warning, didn't go against his personal foul. So Visconti still has 3, and that is a bit more explicable.
I think that's a strong call there. Sure, the head jerked back, but I feel like you've got to see something in the body that's trying to sell it if you're really going to call that a flop.
Tucker picks up the foul, probably not one you needed. That would have been a spectacular finish had it gone from Carson James. I think you just lean off a bit and tip your cap if it does go with English off the glass on that reverse. Carson James 1 for 2 at the line here tonight, now 2 of 3. Full court pressure for the first time from Johns Hopkins. And it's the freshman point guard, Vinny D'Angelo. Traveled with it, and it'll go back Hopkins' way.
That was the right idea there from D'Angelo. Got ahead of steam as he got around James, the pressure from James in the backcourt took it all the way to about 5 feet from the basket, but just walked at the end.
Delaney got a great look, but wasn't even close. Visconti to the hoop and finishes. And that is what the doctor ordered for Swathmore. The offense has not been flowing over the last few minutes. Nothing like the sophomore sensation George Visconti to get you a look at the hoop. Good hedge and recover from Nate Shafer. Delaney spins. Can't hit it. Off the glass, no good. And if you're Landry Kosmolski, you're okay with those types of shots. That's a low percentage look.
If you want to force him to a spin and then a fadeaway, that's fine.
And that's a high percentage look. Good back cut there from Connor Hawkins off the ball.
I just feel like we don't see that enough out of him. He's such a quick guy. That's the reason he's able to get open for threes so often. But just let him, set him a screen and let him cut to the basket.
Big time from Nate Shafer. One more look, trailing the play. Get out of here.
See, initially he's going with his right arm there to try to swat it, expecting Delaney to go that way. He keeps it off to the outside of his body, and Shafer somehow able to recognize that while in midair, get that left arm in there to swat it away.
James will pull it back. 8.5 minutes to go. Swathmore leads by 9. Travel against Connor Delaney. Shuffle defeat, just as D'Angelo did 2 possessions ago. What Swathmore has done well, Johns Hopkins has gone on a bit of a run here in recent minutes and has kept Swathmore off the board to a large extent, but the Garnet have not really let this get within 5 in quite some time.
That's the mark of a good team, just being able to tighten things up when you need to and keep teams away.
Shaw gave up the 3. They'll reset with 7. Hawkins, no good. Didn't quite set himself on that one.
See, just didn't get his legs under it. Kept it short.
Vinny D'Angelo rides on Carson James. That's the 7th team foul against Swathmore. Johns Hopkins into the bonus. Carson James, a guy who is averaging 16 minutes per game. Registering is 10 minutes played here in the book. It's been I would say it's been a worthwhile, it's been a noticeable 10 minutes. Feels like when Delaney has not been on the floor, or even in this case when he is, he's had a lot to say about the offensive possessions for Hopkins. Hits both foul shots there. 6 points to his name. Inside they go. Nate Shafer. Floor opens up for him. Looking for help. Ooh, somehow got that one to Ryan Ingram through the hands of Delaney. 6 to shoot. Odell inside. Great footwork. Beautiful from the first team preseason All-American.
Again, the Hopkins bench wanting a travel called, but keeps that right pivot foot down, spins on the same axis, and then goes up once again with the soft touch.
Delaney, a corner 3. No good. Good box out that time by Visconti.
That's just a home run type ball. There he had Ingram right in his face.
Wouldn't go, tapped back, and now James the other way. James, it opens up for him. 2 defenders, Visconti and Ingram, went to the 3-point line, and James slices to the hole. 7-point game again.
And
Timeout with 6:40 to play.
And they've been impressively, just as we've said, that Swarthmore, whenever Hopkins has gone on a bit of a run, they've been able to respond. Hopkins hasn't allowed themselves to get out of it, that time running it perfectly in transition after Shafer tried for the tap out, set them up with some good numbers, and turning it into a transition bucket for James.
You're watching Swathmore men's basketball, the #1 team in the country at the D3 level, live on the Garnet Sports Network. Bob Long, Jacob Brady, alongside your broadcast crew for all men's basketball games this year. We talked about this Johns Hopkins team coming in 8-0, as Swathmore is. One of the teams they beat, as you mentioned at the top of the telecast, was Christopher Newport, who Swathmore beat in the Final Four to advance to the national championship game. Both teams have lost key pieces, Jacob. Cam Wiley, first-team All-American, multiple two-time Centennial Conference Player of the Year, and the guy to get the shot at the end of the shot clock. Daniel Vila inside, Michael Gardner, and even Noah Rolby on the outside. Guys that Johns Hopkins is missing, but these programs are reloading. And Swathmore specifically able to go about 10 deep at any point. They've employed a new defensive scheme, picking up full court from time to time over the course of the year. And the old guard, sure, but some new wrinkles with both of these programs so far this year. It's like that, a back cut, beautiful.
And there's the new guard, Colin Shaw.
Beautiful cut to the basket. The back screen inside, and beautiful pass from Zach Odell. Delaney slides to the hole. He is fouled by Zach Odell. Odell didn't like it. From here, it looked like he did get a piece of the wrist.
And it's actually on Ingram, not Odell.
Okay. Well, if you're Landry Kosmowski, of the two fouls, you'll certainly take that. First foul for Ryan Ingram versus Zach Odell, who has 3. Delaney came into the season 17 for 25 from the foul line, 68%, 1 of 2 that trip. 9-point lead for Swathmore. We tick towards 6 minutes to play. This is the game, in many ways, the country was looking for and was excited to see here tonight. Odell attacks O'Neal. And Visconti shuffled the feet. Third time in the last 5 minutes or so that it's a simple shuffle that gives the ball back to the opposition.
Ball security just hasn't quite been where you want it to be. 14 turnovers for the Garnet, and just a lot of them coming on those sort of mental mistakes where you don't get set before you go into your drive.
These two teams have met in the last 2 Centennial Conference Finals. This has that type of feel. What an atmosphere here tonight. O'Neal spins inside. Boy, he did a nice job to get to the point of releasing it, and then just kind of short-armed it on his way to the basket. That's a lefty trying to finish with the right hand.
Visconti there also providing some good defense, played straight up. O'Neal bounced off him the first time, and then it's a little hesitant to go back up.
Visconti rolls in and out. Delaney, here's an open 3, but he gives it up and is pulled off his hands there. Odell on the floor first. Loose ball. Here comes Carson James, and the shot clock does reset after possession by Odell. James finds Bartlett. This time he will take the 3, and it's well off.
But he didn't need to make it that fancy on the layup. He went for the reverse when he could have just gone straight up for it.
Odell well short on that one, and the legs are getting a little tired here at Tarbell Pavilion on both sides. O'Neal not particularly close, and Landry Kosmalski imploring his team to get to half court and call a timeout.
You don't want this to just turn into a Chuck and D type of game. That seemed to be what both teams were sort of trending towards at that point, and that's a good job by Kosmalski to call a timeout, try to regroup and get back to the offensive basics that they know. Don't force shots that aren't your game.
Johns Hopkins holding opponents to 60 points per game. Swathmore 55 with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to play. But it's a Swathmore team averaging almost 90 points per game.
It's been a good defensive effort, but just the defense on the other side for the Garnet has been there as well. Helped to contain Connor Delaney, even though he's got 13 points. Only 5 of 15 from the field, 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. He certainly looked explosive, but just some tough finishes around guys that have him by 5 or 6 inches.
Ingram to inbound. Connor Delaney was guarding him. Here's Vinny D'Angelo, a stud at the high school level at Sun Valley, and he's tripped by Bartlett. 5th team foul. Interesting to see Delaney and Ingram guard one another. Two very proficient guards. Ingram, a guy who still holds the scoring record at Western Albemarle High School. Connor Delaney, the Interac basketball MVP his senior year and originally a Villanova lacrosse commit. Decided to go play his college basketball at Johns Hopkins. Zach Odell inside. And that time O'Neal just took too much of a chance there trying to get that ball.
Shame he didn't dunk it there. Would have gotten the crowd even more fired up.
Delaney, good slip to the hole and a good finish. Timeout called by Josh Leffler. So they get the basket back quickly. 3 minutes, 47 seconds to play. Still an 8-point ball game.
And I was not aware that Connor Delaney was a lacrosse player, but you can definitely see it in the way that he plays, his ability to read holes in a defense, that time cutting his way through. Take a look at him getting blocked by Nate Shafer, but again, just able to find seams in a defense and work his way in towards a dangerous scoring position. Good signs from, I imagine, an attackman. That's what it looks like to me.
Another guy we haven't talked about here tonight, but it is a guy that is getting about 8 minutes a game and has played in 7 games this year, is Sidney Thibault. Thibault comes by way of Irvington, New York, and is actually the cousin of Matisse Thibault, Philadelphia 76ers rookie. So a homecoming of sorts, I guess, for him as he's coming to the town where Matisse plays his basketball, and of course Connor Delaney and Tom Quarry, Episcopal and Father Judge, respectively. Swathmore breaks the huddle. A look from our sky cam here at Swathmore College from above the basket. Swathmore with folks from all over the country. We mentioned Ingram from Charlottesville, Virginia, Western Albemarle High School. He has the basketball now. Connor Hawkins hails from Greenwich, Connecticut. Shawmont, New York is where Zach Odell played his high school ball. Colin Shaw from Cincinnati, Ohio. Nate Shafer from Northern Virginia. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Garnet slow to get into the offensive set. Taken away from George Visconti, and he's petitioning for a foul against Connor Delaney. 4 on the shot clock.
They're doing well to get good looks for George Visconti. That time attacking right to the basket. Now 4 seconds for them to do anything.
And Visconti traveled with it. Took a couple steps before he put the ball on the pavement.
It's a couple times that's been called on him.
It's an 8-point game. 3 possessions. Hopkins has been getting the stops in recent minutes, but they haven't been able to convert on the offensive end. Braden Johnson, no good from 3, tapped back, and an offensive foul. That is the 4th foul against Harry O'Neal. O'Neal doesn't like the call. He hasn't been particularly pleased with any particular one of the 4 fouls that he's picked up, but that one he doesn't like the call. He did tip the ball, but then he got a good whack of Zach Odell on his way through.
I thought he also caught a piece of George Visconti's face, so.
Now Swathmore calls timeout. It's a good call there by Connor Hawkins with those 3 inbound options. Sure, he might have been able to get it in, but there was no decisive cut to the ball, and I think after the receipt of the ball, that player, whoever it was, would have been in trouble. So better to draw something up.
Well, Visconti was actually just looking for the outlet there and would have maybe would have gotten off looking for a transition bucket, but I don't know if I trust Connor Hawkins as my quarterback quite yet.
Hawkins would be a very adroit quarterback, Jacob. But 3 minutes left in this basketball game. A conference title feel here, one that we've seen each of the last 2 years in this very building.
Whoever scheduled this game, very wise, getting it on the last day of classes here, even though it's a weeknight. Student section showing up for it. See a good number of professors in the crowd as well, so everybody in the community coming out to appreciate some high-quality basketball.
Yeah, you see the crowd on the one side when we get the look from our broadcast view here. That's very full on the Swathmore side. It's just as full right behind the Garnet bench. So out of the timeout, Connor Hawkins will again be the quarterback of the offense, trying to get it inbounds. Cannot move coming out of the timeout. And now the over-the-top pass. It's a home run for George Visconti. Count it, and 1.
You know what? I trust Hawkins as my quarterback. That was the exact ball that George Visconti wanted before the timeout. He got it that time and ran it to perfection.
Visconti, a proficient foul shooter, has 1 at the line to bring the lead to 11. One more look. Visconti shield with the body. There's the contact. There's the finish. Visconti hits the foul shot. Ethan Bartlett has fouled out of the basketball game. My apologies, he has not.
Just the crowd.
That's right.
Trying to get in his head.
There's the left-right for you. You know what happens when you assume. There's the second personal foul against Ryan Ingram, and there comes Bartlett, as we mentioned, not disqualified, back to the scorer's table.
Only 1 personal for him.
He'll replace Joey Kern. Shooters roll for Connor Delaney. 9-point lead for Swathmore. Johns Hopkins will continue to bring the full court pressure, looking to elicit some turnovers. Visconti on the catch. Into double team, fortunate. And good vision there from Visconti. No rush here for Swathmore. 12 to shoot for Colin Shaw. Hawkins was lining it up. Now he will let it go. In and out. Not the ball movement that Swathmore would like, but they did take some time off the clock. Big one for Delaney. Doesn't go. Nake throws it away. Swathmore basketball. He split the difference between Carson James and Connor Delaney.
Might have been better served just to attack there, already in a good position beneath the basket. Try to either draw some contact or see if they'll give you that finish.
2:12 to play. You're watching Swathmore men's basketball here on the Garnet Sports Network. Bob Long, Jacob Brady alongside. There's a back cut. That's dangerous, and it's intercepted. Good vision there by Delaney. Inside they go. Nake's all alone, and he's fouled by Zach Odell. He had the layup without question, but went to flush it hard and gave Zach Odell a chance to get back into the play. Nake misses the first, and every point critical down the stretch.
It had been 3 for 3 from the line up until that point.
Misses both. Rebound is loose. Jump ball, and it's Swathmore basketball. Has to be said, Jacob, that's why you got to just go up and lay that basketball in. He tried to bring the house down and gave Odell an extra second to get in there and disrupt.
Ended up being a smart foul. In fact, it does put Odell on 3, but only 2 minutes remaining in this one. Just has to avoid picking up a fourth.
So it remains a 9-point game. Referees will discuss underneath the basket. Now we're ready for basketball again. Ingram comes to the ball. Let's see if Hopkins decides to foul. Knocked out of bounds by Kern. A little disingenuous as he ports down the floor to say, hey, Hopkins ball. I would say that's fairly clear.
I don't know if George grew a 10-foot arm or something right there and got a fingernail on it.
Ah, the Mighty Space Jam reference. Very good. In that case, it was about a 20-foot arm for Jordan there. "20 seconds on the shot clock. Let's see if Hopkins decides to foul. At this point, I think you play it out. You've already given away 20 seconds. Visconti hasn't given it up. And it's knocked away by Kern, so they get the steal they need. In rhythm 3. Tip, no. Brought down by Hawkins. And it's Hopkins basketball. Just could not keep his balance.
And that was exactly what Hopkins had to do there with that defense on Visconti, because I think these teams have met each other enough to know that in this kind of situation you have a lead, you want to burn as much time as possible. Once again, take 22 seconds off the clock. It's at the 8-second mark where things start to happen. Kern playing good defense for 20 seconds and forcing the steal.
1 minute, 16 seconds to play. Director of Athletics Adam Hertz with the swag, and he's just pelting people in the stands with it. A couple of those were on a line.
See,
There's the arc. There you go.
This is why I wish I was in the stands sometimes. I miss out on all the swag.
We'll see if we can get you some swag here, Jacob. Yeah, Jacob Brady, a senior here at Swathmore College, my distinguished partner here in the booth, bringing me the view from campus, if you will, the view that I can't quite have not going to school here. So appreciate you being with us here in the booth every evening to broadcast Swathmore basketball, and you've done a great job in this role. We appreciate all your help here.
My pleasure as always.
Full timeout on the floor. Josh Leffler giving instructions to his guys, the Blue Jays, will have the basketball coming out of the timeout. And certainly you'd take a quick two if you can get it, but if not, you're looking to create a look around the three-point line. It's not just chuck it yet, but if you're not getting a really good look from two, you might as well launch it from three.
And it's likely going to be either Connor Delaney or Tom Quarry who they're trying to get that look, their leading scorer and their star point guard.
And it is Delaney wide open for three. It's good. 6-point game. Swathmore looking to get it in, and they will. Of note, the next two fouls from Hopkins will still only have Swathmore in the bonus. So 1-and-1s could decide this one. For now, they're not fouling. Under a minute to play. Visconti with 11, and now he's fouled by Kern. So 20 seconds off the clock, and Kern commits the personal.
And you can see Josh Leffler down on the sideline calling for a flop because of the way that Visconti is moving his head, and I think that's a smart no call by the ref in this kind of a tight game down the stretch, right? It's a 6-point game, final minute. You don't want this to come down to a flop technical being the difference.
And he missed it. So 1-and-1s, important. And they couldn't come back to burn the Garnet. Nice job by Ingram to stay with them. Braden Johnson in rhythm, no good. He came off the screen, kind of fell down after the fact, but curled into a three, and that was well short. Ingram will shoot the front end of the 1-and-1 with 33 seconds left. Ingram just 7 of 11 from the foul line this year. A long stoppage here before Ingram shoots the foul shot as they clean up the floor on the far side. Ingram missed it as well. And the foul is called against, I haven't seen who the foul is. Wow, it's called against O'Neal. Now another referee is going to come in, and my guess is that they're going to call this off. I thought O'Neal was just boxing out, and Odell kind of got tied up. But it is called. O'Neal has fouled out of the basketball game.
And those are just the tough ones, those 50-50 calls where could really you have perhaps expected disagreement between the refs, and ultimately it's going to put a guy at the line in the double bonus.
Odell will shoot 2 at the line. Gets the first. It's a 3-possession lead. That free throw is huge. Odell 1 of 2.
You've got to go quick here if you are Hopkins.
Watch the pull-up here from Delaney. He'll get all the way to the hoop. Good finish. Timeout called. Josh Leffler, he'll take a minute to yell at the one official. And again, I understand to a large extent that last call. I think that last call is a tough one.
It's just, that's not what you want to see a game come down to. You don't want to see your best defender fouling out right at the end and giving a guy, you know, potentially 2 free points there, obviously only one of them being made. And it is unfortunate because of sort of the 50-50 nature of that call where it really could have been ruled off and given a no call.
For Swathmore, it has been a balanced effort. 15 points for Nate Shafer, 13 for Colin Shaw. We haven't seen as much of Shafer in recent minutes. Zach Odell with 9. Connor Hawkins has 8. Vinny D'Angelo with 4. Visconti has 6. Justin Tucker with 2, and Michael Caprice with 3, and limited minutes for both Tucker and Caprice.
Yeah, they've been going pretty small overall in these lineups down the stretch, playing Shaw, Ingram, Hawkins, and Visconti together a lot, and leaving Odell as the lone big man.
Odell is all the way down the floor. Johnson 3/4 of the way there. Now the Garnet do get it inbounds to Visconti. He is fouled by Bartlett. He'll shoot 2 at the line with 22 seconds left.
Looks like he was on a slip and slide there.
Visconti with 2 foul shots can extend the lead to 3 possessions. First one, nothing but net.
And foul shooting has been an issue for the Garnet tonight. Only 11 of 19 from the line where they're usually so good. It's possible the gaggle of small children, Blue Jays supporters getting into their head a little bit.
The gaggle, that's my man. Both free throws go. And they started the clock early, so they'll redo this. It was 22 exactly on the clock. And with that, Swathmore will take that opportunity to prevent Johns Hopkins from rolling it up the floor. Quarry, he's fouled. Zach Odell got a good piece of the right forearm of Quarry. Easy call. 4th personal against Zach Odell. And just the last thing you wanted if you're a Swathmore basketball fan.
And I'm a little confused why Odell was sort of in that position where he needed to go into Quarry like that, or at least why they had their defense set up to have Odell committing over to Quarry there. They knew they were looking more or less for an immediate three-point shot either out of Delaney or Quarry. And Odell was basically guarding both of them there, and once the pass went off, he had to go into the side of Quarry.
Ethan Bartlett checks in. Delaney comes off. All 3 free throws hit by Tom Quarry. It's a 4-point game with 17 seconds left. Vinny D'Angelo comes into the game. Once again, Swathmore can run the baseline here on this inbounds. And Visconti gets it. He's fouled around half court. That's your best free throw shooter from last year, George Visconti, to the line to shoot 2. Visconti hits a big one. It's a 5-point lead for Swathmore. 16 seconds left. No good on the second offensive rebound. Hawkins is fouled. 9 seconds left. He can extend it to 3 possessions, but that feels like the nail in the coffin for Johns Hopkins.
Part of that, having Harry O'Neal on the bench, thanks to fouling out one of your best rebounders. Unfortunately, had to take a seat.
Hawkins misses the first, back iron. Chidnake checks in. Likely to provide that rebounding presence, and he'll send the leaner Tom Quarry to the second level. Hawkins hits the foul shot. Shafer will come in to replace the shooter, Hawkins.
I know if I had a child screaming that high in my ear, I'd be missing every shot I took.
Delaney, they need a quick three. He rises. Short. Nake puts it up. Counted and one. So it's down to 4. It could be one possession with a connection from the foul line by Chid Nake.
And this is Sydney Thibault?
Thibault.
Just Thibault. All right. Coming into the game.
Sydney Thibault checks in, the cousin of Matisse, who plays his basketball here for the 76ers. Huge free throw. Nake hits it. Timeout on the floor. And this one is not done yet. It's a one-possession game with 2.5 seconds on the clock. Hopkins, really their best or only bet is going to be a steal.
And it's got to be a steal and more or less immediately into a shot. If you're the Garnet, you really want to get it as far up the floor as possible. If that means just sending Odell or somebody else into the backcourt, just throwing it up for him, either having him try to go up and catch it or just say that that's going to put them far back enough that they can't even attempt a shot, might be their best option.
This Hopkins team has not quit. It has been extremely impressive, their comeback here. Swathmore has controlled the majority of the game, now looking to close it out. In the final 2.5 seconds, Visconti fouled. They may put a little bit of time more on the clock. There's a discussion at midcourt about that very fact. Maybe 0.3, something like that I could see being added. And give Swathmore a lot of credit as well. They have not turned the ball over in a full court pressure situation. And I'm looking, trying to read lips. 1.5. That feels a little generous.
Yeah, it's definitely more than I expected.
I would have thought 1-1, 1-2. Nonetheless, he can end it here. Visconti hits the foul shot. 2-possession game, and Swathmore's going to back off.
Forget about the 3 and the foul.
Bingo.
Always a possibility.
So they backed off completely. Visconti hits both. 67-62. Key foul shots in key moments. Quarry at the horn. No good. Number 1, Swathmore, with its biggest test of the year, stands up in a big way, defeating number 11, Johns Hopkins, in the game of the week here in Division III basketball.
The pressure was on George Visconti down the stretch, his first game back after missing a week and a half of time coming off the bench. But down the stretch, he was huge. Yeah, he missed a free throw, but it was the ones that he made that matters. Finishes 5 of 7 for the line, 11 points overall, and helping to will this Garnet to a win. And what a win it was. Again, Hopkins never quit. Down by 7, down by 9. It didn't matter. They found themselves a way back into this game, able to cut that lead to one possession. But you know what's the mark of a great team? It's not letting that get past that, and that's exactly what Swarthmore did. When it mattered, they took care of the ball, as you said. 9-0, 4-0 in conference, a win over the number 11 team. That's a pretty good, nice thing to put on your resume.
Well, it's a matchup that'll happen again February 12th at 8 o'clock p.m., Goldfarb Gymnasium in Baltimore, Maryland. These are two really good teams. What I think Swathmore did extremely well was hold Johns Hopkins to only 5 scores. Those are the only 5 guys that scored here tonight, starting lineup, and that's impressive for a team that has outscored its opponents by 17 points. Tonight they hold Johns Hopkins to 62, score 67 themselves, grind out a win here at home, playing a different brand of basketball, a different style of basketball that they hadn't have all year long.
Hey, you had a feeling that Connor Delaney, it was going to be a big game for him from the opening minutes when he just took it upon himself to drive, to really go at the basket. And he did it. He finished with 22 points, but it wasn't a particularly efficient 22 points. 8 for 20 from the field, only 2 for 7 from beyond the arc, 3 turnovers as well. So in spite of him going off, they were able to limit the weapons around him, limit Tom Quarry, a guy who had been going off for 17 a game, who hit on about 47% of his threes previously this season, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, 3 for 7 from the field, opened the game 0 for 3. They shut down the guys around him. They said, okay, you know what, Connor Delaney, he's going to attack, he's going to score, but we'll shut down his help. And it worked.
Swathmore 51% from the field. Johns Hopkins 38% from the field. That Swathmore defense stood up in a big way here tonight. I think they make a statement. Yes, they were the higher-ranked team for sure, but to take care of business against the highest-ranked team on your schedule at this point says a lot about this team, and they build forward from here. They take 3 weeks off. They won't play until 2020 when they play University of Rochester here on January 2nd, and a lot to feel good about for the first 9-game slate of the year.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things to take away, and just you see the different kind of games that they've won. It's been a high-scoring offense consistently this season. You have that working for you. You have a guy in Connor Hawkins, of course, who's breaking out of that slump that he was in to start the season. You love to see that because he's such a big part of your offense when he can stretch the floor, when guys know that they literally have to be in his face because otherwise he's going to take that room and he's going to burn you by shooting a 3 right over you. They have that going for them. They've won shootouts over Sinus 88-86, 88-81 over TCNJ, and then a grinder here. Their first true grinder of the season. Perhaps Washington College 68-56 as well. But right here playing a team that was going toe for toe with them the whole night, and they stood up to the test.
Then it was Nate Shafer in the first half, Zach Odell in the second half. The bigs were a key here all night to establish their presence inside, to make life difficult on Harry O'Neal. Tom Quarry had trouble stretching the floor here tonight. Really a fantastic defensive effort from this team. Johns Hopkins 6 for 26 from beyond the arc. Not a very Blue Jay typical performance. Give that Swathmore defense a lot of credit. But this is not the last time they'll meet, as mentioned. February the 12th, down in Baltimore, that'll be one to watch. For now, Swathmore on top, remaining number 1 in the country, making a statement to the country, taking down number 11, Johns Hopkins. Thanks for being with us all here tonight. We appreciate it. Garnet Sports Network is the place for all Swathmore athletics. He's Jacob Brady. I'm Bob Long saying so long. Matt Judge, our producer here tonight, doing all the behind-the-scenes work. Until next time, and until 2020 for my part, have a great night, everybody, and we'll see everybody real soon.